Should you be having protein? Today's topic is all about that vital macronutrient. Hey everybody, it's Fahad here from Fit with Fahad, and in today's video we're going to cover the importance of protein. But before we crack into today's video, if you haven't already done so, please click that subscribe button, hit that bell notification because you don't want to miss any of my videos. Because if you'd rather look more like Bruce Lee and less like Lee Priest, this is the channel for you. I'm dedicating my channel to helping giving fitness advice for people just like you who want no-nonsense fitness advice to help you get in great shape, get athletic physique, and kick ass in life. But without further ado, let's crack on with today's video. So, we have all heard of protein. You know, protein is a macronutrient that's essential to life, and people have to eat it, and they get it from things like dairy, from meat, from fish, and from plant-based protein sources as well. But what exactly is protein and why do you need it, and how much of it do you need? So like I said, protein is a macronutrient. Well, what that means is it's a category of food, and the body basically breaks down a macronutrient and uses it for various purposes. And in the case of protein is broken down into something called amino acids, and amino acids are the building blocks for life. So basically, in a nutshell, what protein does is it helps with cell and tissue generation and regeneration. In other words, build and repair of your body. Now, this is especially important when you're trying to build muscle mass because you need protein in order to build muscle tissue and repair muscle tissue. And that's why you'll see so many protein supplements and protein-based meals recommended by bodybuilders and in bodybuilding and fitness magazines. But what if your goal isn't actually to become a bodybuilder? What if your goal is just to lose body fat, lose weight? Do you still need the same amount of protein, or do you still need to take protein supplements? Well, this is what's confusing. A lot of people start to think that protein is only essential for you if you're trying to get massive or if you're trying to build muscle mass, and you don't need protein or not much of it if you're just trying to lose a little bit of body fat and lose a little bit of weight. But the truth is, protein is very important if your goal is just to lose body fat and lose weight. So the first important thing to know is protein has something called a high thermic effect. In other words, it takes more calories to digest protein than it does to digest carbohydrates or fat. So if your goal is to lose body fat and lose weight, you're going to want to eat more protein in your diet because you want to create more of a calorie deficit, and protein will help you burn more calories because it has a high thermic effect. Now, we've already spoken about protein's ability to help you repair and restore muscle tissue. And in fact, it also helps you preserve muscle tissue. So if you are in a calorie deficit and you're trying to lose body fat and body weight, when you go into a calorie deficit, you do risk losing muscle tissue. If you have adequate amounts of protein, then you're more likely to spare the muscle tissue when you start losing body fat. And this is important because if you start losing muscle tissue, your actual basal metabolic rate can decrease slightly, which means you need less calories a day in order to maintain your weight, which means if you are trying to lose weight, you're going to then need to reduce your calorie intake even more so, which is actually not very good. Protein also has a high satiety index of foods. In other words, when you eat protein, you feel fuller, you feel more satisfied with your meal, which means you're going to be less likely to want to eat more food and overeat. Which also brings me to the point that protein reduces the hormone ghrelin. Now, ghrelin is your hunger hormone. So if protein has a positive effect on ghrelin, that means you're going to be less hungry, which means, again, you're going to be less likely to want to snack and overeat food. So as you can see, protein is very important, not just in muscle building, but also in the fat loss and weight loss process as well. But how much protein do you actually need? Well, according to expert Brad Schoenfeld, you're going to want to aim for between 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight to a maximum of 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Now, if your goal is to just lose body fat and weight and you want to preserve muscle tissue, you can err at the lower end of that spectrum, i.e. 1.6 grams per kilogram. But if you're a hard gainer or you're trying to build muscle mass, you want to be then moving towards that 2.2 grams per kilogram. And there used to be this myth that you can only digest between 20 to 25 grams of protein per meal. Well, actually, that's not true. Again, according to Brad Schoenfeld, there's an actual upper limit of about 0.55 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per meal. And a minimum that you'd want to aim for is about 0.4 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per meal. So usually what that looks like, in order to hit that 0.4 grams of protein per kilogram per meal, you're going to want to have about 4 meals per day. And that works well because you're going to want to keep that protein synthesis going in the body and keep the body in a positive nitrogen balance in order to help you build that muscle tissue or preserve that muscle tissue if you're working out and put yourself in a calorie deficit. But what about protein supplements? Do you need them? Well, the truth is you don't need protein supplements and you don't need protein powders. However, they do make it easier and more convenient to reach your protein meals, especially if you're busy or if you are on a plant-based diet. Now, from my experience working with clients, even if they eat a meat-based diet, they find it difficult to get their daily requirements of protein in because they're just not used to eating as much protein as is recommended. And this is usually where protein supplements can really help. And protein supplements can certainly help if you are training really hard and you want to gain or preserve muscle tissue and you incorporate it as part of your post-workout meal. But the truth is, as long as you're getting your proteins from your whole foods, from things like meats, from things like fish, from dairy, from nuts, and from plant-based protein sources such as legumes and soy-based products like edamame beans, etc., you're going to get your protein requirements without needing to resort to protein powders. But like I said, protein powders do offer variety, they do make it convenient, and they are actually cost-effective ways of getting your protein needs in as well. Yes, before protein powders were seen as a very expensive way of getting protein, but now they're actually very economical ways of getting 20 to 25 grams of protein. So there you have it, protein in a nutshell. You can see what I did there with the pun. Anyway, I hope you got value from this video. And as always, if you did, please leave a like, please leave a comment. And if you have any questions, let me know below. I'm more than happy to answer them as always. But until then, I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day, sweat more, suck less, and stay awesome.